Podcast of the VikingAge.com. My name is Chris Schad. I write for FanSided and Zone Coverage. He is Adam Patrick, managing editor of the VikingAge.com and a lead editor for the NFL division at FanSided. We do this right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel, and we're in podcast form on Apple and Spotify the very next day. But however you consume us, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode and we can spread the word to the masses. On today's episode, of course, we have Jonathan Greenard watch, as apparently the Vikings don't want to pay him. We'll talk about that. Not a whole lot else going on except for, I don't know, a new quarterback. Kyler Murray signs with the Minnesota Vikings. It just happened about a couple hours ago, really. Yeah. It is a 1-year, $1.2 million deal with the Vikings. There is a no tag clause in the contract, so we'll talk about there. And really, there's not a lot of other things to say about the nature of the deal. He's here. He will probably be your starter in 2026, and the Vikings got him. So how are you feeling about Kyler Murray as the Vikings' new starting quarterback, Adam?
A lot of things. I think the first reaction is probably excitement. I think anytime your favorite team gets a big signing, it's exciting. And then it moves into, what does this mean for the Vikings moving forward? What does this mean for JJ McCarthy moving forward? Is Kyler just going to be a 1-year thing? Because, he did sign a 1-year contract and did get the no tag clause. So it sounds like he's looking to have a really good year and then cash in 2027, which I don't blame him, because it's what you want to do if you're not gonna win Super Bowls all the time. You might as well get paid. But no, I think it's exciting. I think it's interesting and kind of hilarious too that the Vikings and all the insiders are making sure to let everyone know this is a competition between Kyler Murray and JJ McCarthy. When I wrote this in like my initial article about Kyler signing, about how, even Stevie Wonder can see that this is not going to be a competition. Kyler's going to be the starter, and if he's not, and JJ McCarthy is able to beat him out, that's great news for the Vikings too. So, yeah, I would be shocked if Kyler Murray does not open the season as the week 1 starter for the Vikings. And at the same time, even if he is the starter, I don't think it's terrible for JJ McCarthy. I think a lot of people feel like this might be giving up on him, but I feel like it's giving McCarthy a chance to breathe, learn how to drink from something that isn't a fire hose. Just take a step back, because he hasn't had the opportunity to be healthy and just sit back and learn, because his first year he was injured the whole year, couldn't practice. Last year he was hurt a bunch, he couldn't practice. So, if Kyler is the starter this year, JJ can just sit back. He can go against the scout team, or he can run the scout team every practice, go against the Vikings' #1 defense, which, Dante Culpepper's talked in the past about how much that helped him. So, he can do all this, and then the Vikings can go back and reassess and see if he's ready, or if Kyler has a really good season, they can re-sign him and go from there. But I think it's good that the Vikings aren't just sitting around and being like, "Oh, well, just we'll let JJ McCarthy see if he can do it again." No, they're being proactive, and they're trying to find a solution at quarterback, because they have a receiver who's getting paid $35 million a year, and they need to keep him happy. So I think the addition of Kyler Murray is gonna help do that.
Yeah, I know we all aged about 50 years during the 2025 season, but JJ McCarthy is still only 23 years old.
Right.
So that's the big thing there. I'm not celebrating this, and I'm not super against this. I'm kind of just whatever. But I do think this is the most fun option that we've been talking about. Like, I truly believe that the Vikings wanted Geno Smith more than they wanted Kyler Murray.
Oh, wow.
And we've heard about that throughout the week. Of course, Geno Smith was rumored to be released, or about to be released, until the New York Jets offered, I think it was like a 6-round, 6-7 pick swap. For him. And
Yeah.
JJ McCarthy probably knows all about the 6-7 videos,
Oh,
but
for sure.
It's I think Kyler's an interesting fit with the Vikings.
Yeah.
I think there's been a lot of fear mongering, like Kevin O'Connell doesn't know what to do with a quarterback like this, and what's the fit going to be, and all that stuff. Dude, just go out and let him play football. I mean, the guy has had 4,000 yard seasons before. His career average is actually 4,000 yards, about 24 touchdowns. I'm just paraphrasing here. I got to look at the actual numbers, but yeah, this is all passing. He gets about 4,000 yards passing a year, about 25 touchdowns, and maybe about 10 interceptions, but
another 5-10 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, he makes up for that with that. So I don't know.
If Kevin O'Connell can't find a way to coach him, can't get the most out of him, then Kevin O'Connell's probably not the right coach for your team. Like if he can't, help McCarthy develop, he can't get a former number 1 pick to play his best, then maybe Kevin O'Connell's not the right guy. And he's a really good culture guy, locker room guy, but at the end of the day, you got to win games and you got to win playoff games, and he hasn't done that yet. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a requirement this year with Kyler only on a 1-year deal, but I think it's time for Kevin O'Connell probably to put up or shut up, because now he's got a quarterback who has plenty of ability, and it's not Aaron Rodgers, so that's good. And I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to come now, but who knows? Maybe he'll want to come and be QB3 or something. Who knows?
I thought my mic was muted there for a second. He's going to go to Vegas and be reunited with his son, Fernando Mendoza. Yeah. I mean, that's a reality show, isn't it? Just Kirk Cousins and Fernando Mendoza hanging off, just like,
just have them be
Jesus
roommates
too, and money.
Yeah, just have them be roommates and just follow them around.
I mean, as far as what Mendoza looks like, as far as a playing style, I think that's a perfect mentor for him.
Yeah.
If Kirk will allow it, that's the thing. Like, this is my starting job, and I got the bag and everything else. I think the other thing that's kind of like confusing me with everything is I think a lot of people are kind of burying JJ McCarthy with Kyler Murray here. And I do want to say, because, I saw Louis Riddick on ESPN going, well, if you signed a former number 1 pick like Kyler Murray, and there's no way that JJ McCarthy can recover. He's got to start somewhere else. He's I've listened to other Viking shows who have also kind of acted like they don't know what they're doing. This is all just a win for this year. And okay, this is the unfortunate reality that we're in. In a perfect world, I think you start JJ McCarthy, you roll with the punches, and you hope that he pulls his head out of his ass. On the flip side, JJ McCarthy just got done with one of the worst quarterback seasons, not just in the NFL last year, in NFL history. Like he's on the same level as EJ Manuel, Jamarcus Russell, Christian Ponder. I mean, if you roll JJ McCarthy out and he's still doing, the broccoli hair thing this year, like, you're going to get fired. So Kevin O'Connell needed to go into the free agent market. He needed a quarterback. And like I said, I think Geno Smith's a better fit, but Kyler Murray has a track record of production in the NFL. He's been a 7-year starter out in Arizona. I know things haven't exactly gone smoothly. That's why he was available. But there's also this. Kyler Murray is not some insurmountable quarterback for JJ McCarthy to topple. There's a reason he was available. If he was this rock solid franchise quarterback, he'd still be in Arizona. Instead, he signs with the veteran minimum. And I'm not bashing Kyler here. I'm just saying the truth with his career. There's been a lot of high upside plays, and there's been a lot of inconsistencies. And like Bo Brock came on. It's a really hard name to say fast, by the way, but we really appreciate Bo of the PHNX podcast coming on. Go ahead and check that out if you are just joining us for the first time here on the Viking Age YouTube channel. But, Bo Brock was on here and he was saying they just couldn't get good plays out of him consistently. And when you listen to that, it sounds a lot like JJ McCarthy. Let's just, you were saying this a little bit. If he goes behind the scenes where, every sneeze per EPA isn't overanalyzed, he's going to be in a better environment to work. So I think this helps him. And also too, I think some people are afraid too. Like, there are some people out there that the Vikings quarterback has to be JJ McCarthy. If he comes back to be an elite quarterback after all this, it is an all-time outlier. You are betting on something that is probably a 1 in a million chance based on last year. And maybe it happens. Maybe it turns out we've said it ourselves. There are good things with JJ McCarthy, and there's a whole lot of bad that happened last year. But I think his ceiling is probably as a, top 15, top 10 quarterback, which is the same as Kyler Murray. So maybe Kyler Murray has a good year. You don't really get everything. All right. Thank you. Go reunite with Cliff Kingsbury in Los Angeles with the Rams. We'll roll with McCarthy again. Or McCarthy still looks like he's pissing himself in practice and you go get another quarterback. Like, it's not the end of the world, but everybody is freaking out. And I understand it because of how bad McCarthy was, but also too, I don't think this is a death sentence for him.
No. And I've seen people like, I think even I suggested after all the Kyler Murray stuff started that like the Vikings should trade McCarthy. Like that was just my initial thought because I was like, oh, they'll probably be done with him. But then, after sitting back and reading and listening to a bunch of other people, I do agree that this will be good for him. And plus, like what what sort of leverage does JJ McCarthy and his, agent have right now for a trade? Like not a ton. Like what are they gonna what are people gonna send over? Like a fifth at this point right now? Um but look at like we get spoiled with guys like, I know he's not that great right now, but CJ Stroud was really good his rookie year. Andrew Luck, his rookie year. Patrick Mahomes, his first year, which we forget he sat the entire first year. Um, and I'm trying. Oh, Jaden Daniels, his first year, he comes in, you know, guns blazing. Those are not the norm in the NFL. Like most guys have to sit for like at least like half a season, if not more, before they're able to like reach their full potential. You look at the Packers; they, I don't want to praise them all the time, but they're good at developing quarterbacks because they let those guys sit, they let them marinate, they let them learn. At times they'll fill in when they need to when people get hurt, but for the most part, they let them sit back and learn on the outside. Jordan Love, I think he sat for what, 3 years, 4 years. Same thing with Aaron Rodgers, when Brett Favre was running the show. So like they let these guys sit, and guess what? It's worked out. And then you look at guys, even like I mentioned, Patrick Mahomes had his first year. I believe Josh Allen even sat like a handful of games. Lamar Jackson sat a bunch of games. Like Drake May didn't start immediately. Like sometimes guys need a little more time to be good. And owners these days don't really have a whole lot of patience because they do see the CJ Strouds, they do see the Jaden Daniels, they do see the Andrew Lucks just come and play and make an impact right away. Not everyone's like that. Some people look at Alex Smith. He had what, like 6 different offensive coordinators in his first 6 years. He was terrible, like thrown to the wayside. And then Jim Harbaugh comes along, completely turns his career around. He goes to Kansas City. He's solid with Andy Reid. So like I think even if JJ McCarthy is able to do something like that, where like he can have an Alex Smith type of career, I think that's a win for the Vikings or whoever he plays, or just for JJ McCarthy. But right now, I think the best thing for him is just to sit back and learn, see how Kyler prepares. And I think for Kyler, he gets to play with a good team and like a team that actually like cares about winning, cares about its players, doesn't make its players pay for meals, um, has elite facilities and stadiums, has an all pro wide receiver, which the last time Kyler played with that, he went to the Pro Bowl 2 years in a row. Um, they have a better offensive line than I believe than the Cardinals did. Their defense is better than anything Kyler's ever played with before in his career. So like we said this about McCarthy last year, but Kyler doesn't have to come in and put the whole team on his shoulders. I know Kevin O'Connell is going to have a couple games where he's going to end up throwing 40 times a game because that's just what he does. But you know, Kyler doesn't have to do a whole lot. He can be a Sam Darnold on the Seahawks last year if they want. I don't think that's going to happen, but he can do that. And then you know, Kyler's not known for being the most durable, so there's probably going to be some times during the season where the Vikings are like, "Hey, JJ, we need you to come in and just manage this game and lead us to a win. You don't have to put up like gaudy numbers or anything or rush for 3 touchdowns. Just help us win the game." And that's all you kind of need from him. And then, Kyler comes back or he doesn't or whatever. But I think the Vikings had to go out and get someone like this. And I heard you say Geno Smith was a better fit, and I've seen a lot of people say that. It's great that he's a better fit for what Kevin O'Connell wants to do, but Geno Smith is there's a reason why he's on the Jets, because nobody else really wanted him, um, because he's had some solid seasons. He's a lot better than he used to be when he was younger. He also sat for a while and turned his career around, but, like, he also throws a bunch of interceptions, takes a lot of sacks. Um, we talk about Kyler's locker room stuff that, isn't true. Bo kinda shot all that down, but, Geno just went back to a team where he got benched because he got punched in the face by a former teammate. I know that was a long time ago, um, but still, like, I never wanted anything really to do with Geno Smith. Not that I wasn't confident Kevin O'Connell could have turned things around, but I think Kyler was the perfect choice for this team, and I think, he'll be good for the Vikings. Now, if the Vikings make the playoffs and Kyler plays really well, like say he has a Sam Darnold 2024 season, Vikings make the playoffs, but they lose again. They lose in the first round. What are they going to do? Are they going to try and bring Kyler back, or are we just going to do this all over again with JJ and then get another quarterback in 2027, 28, and just keep going through this cycle? What's going to happen?
I mean, it's a good question. I mean, you navigate the way the Vikings do year by year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get to this in a minute. I don't think this is much better than a 9 or 10 win team right now. So if that's what we're going to do, just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Because there is, like, the thing with Geno too is there's no upside with Geno Smith.
Right.
There's no world where I
36.
see Geno Smith turning into Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in his mid 34, 35, 30, somewhere. It doesn't matter. He's not here. But I think, there was not a world where Geno Smith was going to go on this Randall Cunningham run and bring the Vikings to the NFC Championship game. If things will get interesting if they make a deep playoff run. If they win a couple of playoff games, if they're a game away from the Super Bowl or whatever, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl because of this move, because there's a lot else going on the roster. But that is pretty much, I mean, if it's one and done.
They brought Aaron Jones back. Now that they're Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get to that in a second. Kevin O'Connell has spoken, by the way. I guess he had a conference call with the media tonight. He did say he spoke this week with JJ McCarthy. O'Connell's quote via ESPN's Kevin Seifert. He knew we were going to be adding somebody to the room. He knew that didn't change anything about his mindset and focus on improving and attacking the offseason the right way. Seifert also asked him, whether this is Kyler Murray is his starting quarterback or in competition with JJ McCarthy. O'Connell's quote was, "Unless I'm confused in any way, shape, or form, I don't believe we have to name one of those currently." Thanks, Kevin.
Didn't he never say JJ McCarthy was QB1 or whatever?
Yeah,
last year and everyone had
it never. There was no like QB1 graphic or anything, but there is that. Do want to give a shout out to our commenter, Status Boom XO. Thank you for commenting, by the way. It makes me know that we are on somewhere. Somebody can see us talking, so that's great. Yeah. He says, "I'm happy about the move for the Vikings." I think you should be. I mean, overall, I know, this is a quote from our friend Matthew Collar of Purple Insider. He said, this is not the Minnesota JJ McCarthy's. And honestly, if JJ McCarthy didn't want this to happen, he plays better last year.
Yep.
And I will say this too. This is something that's just kind of popped into my head because I went back and I watched that week 1 game against the Bears, and I was kind of, I actually got 2 things now that I think about it. I didn't write them down. So like things are just kind of popping in my head. I'm wondering how much his hand really bothered him last year, because it was after he banged it in the Baltimore game where he's kind of, sailing passes towards Wally the Beer Man. He didn't have that game. Also, too, the Vikings line was so freaking bad in that Bears game. It makes you think a little bit. And then, of course, too, here's the other thing. If this is an open competition, which it might be, but it's like one of those ones where like Kyler Murray's like negative money.
It's a Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson open competition.
Right. Like Kyler's maybe like a minus 500 to start week 1 or whatever. The one thing that impressed me about JJ McCarthy last year was his competitiveness.
Oh, yeah.
Like in the Bears game, he makes that comeback. Even in the second Bears game, he had him beat until Ivan Pace was wandering around like an Iwegian or whatever, just
I saw a Bears fan today tweet out like the Vikings were 60 yards away from winning the division last year. I'm not too thrilled that they got Kyler Murray. I was like, ooh, we're already getting scared.
Rational Bears fan.
Right? We're getting scared.
Wow.
Well, the Bears they've lost a bunch of players in free agency this year. So have the Lions.
It's championships are won right now. Maybe we won the championship.
Jets and
Packers lost, but they got
Raiders.
comp picks. The Packers got comp picks back. Anybody will tell you that because they'll just hit on all of them, right?
The Packers will, not the Vikings.
Perfect organization, and baby Micah loading. Yeah.
Hey, they got rid of Rashawn Gary though. So
they did. They don't like him over there.
After he got hacked.
After he got hacked. Yes. Somebody who might get hacked soon is Jonathan Greenard, because he is having a Danielle Hunter moment. Greenard is entering the 3rd year of a 4-year, $76 million contract. And if you've seen some of the pass rusher contracts that are out there in the opening week of free agency, it looks like a bargain. He is 22nd in annual average value among edge rushers right now, $19 million per season. That is also behind his teammate, Andrew Van Ginkel, who is making $23 million for the upcoming season. The Vikings don't have a lot of cap space in the future, so it's looking like they're going to have to trade him. A lot of outlets have already said that they are looking for a day 2 pick in return. Should the Vikings pay Jonathan Greenard or trade him?
I think if you can get a 2nd round pick, you should trade him. Whether it's a late 2nd round or early 2nd round. I don't think they're getting an early 2nd round. But you get a 2nd round pick, go ahead. You have Dallas Turner right there waiting. You can sign someone off the street to be your position, your 3rd down pass rusher or whatever. But you've got Dallas Turner, you got Andrew Van Ginkel. Like if you didn't have Dallas Turner, I'd be like, no, they should, give Greenard a raise or whatever and keep him there. But you mentioned Danielle Hunter there. Like the Vikings had a chance. What was it, 23? When Cousins went down. They could have traded Danielle Hunter, probably got like a 2nd or a 3rd for him. They could have traded Adam Thielen and got something similar. But no, they traded for Josh Dobbs and tried to, squeeze into the playoffs, but that didn't happen. So they got nothing. So I think maybe they look back on that and say, this is a similar situation where we have an opportunity on the table with Jonathan Greenard. We can get draft compensation with him. What if a team offers you a 2nd round pick in 2027?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so too. So even if he can get that, I would say yes. Because it's just it sounds like he wants more money. The Vikings don't have enough money, and now that he just signed today, but the Vikings have to be already thinking if Kyler plays well next year, they have to have a lot of money to pay him if they want to keep him. And they can't pay someone like Jonathan Greenard. And then if Dallas Turner has a good year, they're gonna have to pay him soon too. Um, Jordan Addison, I would not give a long-term contract to him, but his salary is gonna increase. Like, they've got a bunch of other stuff to think about, but mostly Kyler. So I think if Kyler re-signing Kyler is gonna be even a thought of an option next year, you should try and move on from Jonathan Greenard because um, right now he's probably not worth what he wants. He's a good defensive player, but he had 3 sacks last year. 3? Yeah, 3. 3 or
Yeah.
5? 3. And I know he missed some time with injury, but you cannot be getting paid like a top pass rusher a year after you had 3 sacks in 10 games. I know he had a ton of almost sacks. He was like the king of almost sacks last year, but that doesn't count. So, you know, would I want him to go to a place that's not the Eagles? Because I feel like they would just see him in the playoffs and he would just torch the Vikings because that's just what always happens. Yes, go to the Patriots or somebody, or go to who, go to the Ravens. They might want another pass rusher. So I would rather him not go to an NFC team, but if the best offer they can get is from someone like the Eagles or somebody else, then go ahead. But yeah, I think if there's a second round pick from this year or next year on the table, take that right away. Now, if it's a third, I wouldn't hate it, but I'd understand if they wanted to keep him and try and figure something out too. And you got to remember, TJ Hawkinson's going to be a free agent now next year. Aaron Jones is going to be a free agent next year. Like, there's Jordan Mason's going to be a free agent. There's a bunch of stuff coming off the books too. So they could figure out a way. Rob Brzezinski, the cap guru, could figure out a way to keep Greenard if they really want to. And I think having Brian Flores there makes it more enticing to bring him back, but you also don't know if he's going to be here next year. But we say that all the time. And I don't know. I think, yeah, if they can get a second this year or next year, go right ahead and trade Jonathan Greenard. And I have nothing against Greenard. I think he's a great player and fun to watch, good guy. But you gotta think about your future too if you're the Vikings.
Yeah, I think Dallas Turner makes this a conversation.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, if you don't have him there, it's not a question, but you have a cheaper guy who and remember too, Turner is heading into a year where you got to decide whether you want to pick up his 5th-year option. Right. He's succeeded more in that Greenard role. I think when they drafted him, they thought they had a Van Ginkel successor, but that didn't pan out, which is totally fine. It kind of brings back, this is a conversation that a lot of football fans have because they'll look at the sacks as a measure of, is your pass rush good? But if you talk to most coaches, they would rather have pressure. When I was at the Brookings Register, it's already been over a year ago, but I was talking with Jesse Bobbitt, who is the defensive coordinator at South Dakota State. He is now at Iowa State following Jimmy Rogers over there from Washington State. He was telling me they want pressure because pressure allows the linebackers to make plays. It makes the quarterback less accurate. He's more prone to mistakes that way. If you are getting him to see his Pop Warner highlights flash before his eyes more consistently, like, people will take that. So that is where it is, because Jonathan Greenard's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL when it comes to generating pressure. He was, in the top 10 in FAR of total pressures 2 years ago. He had about 50 this year. He's had an outstanding win rate. His problem is, it's missed tackles. He has problem bringing the quarterback to the ground sometimes. And, 2 years ago, he was able to finish those plays. Last year, it was kind of like, Wile E. Coyote trying to catch the Roadrunner, where, all right, I got him. What do you want me to do now? I think that if he is looking for something in the neighborhood of what did Trey Hendrickson get? $30 million a year? Like, some of these free agent contracts are nuts. I think you say, all right, thank you. And you know what? It might not be a draft pick. If you're talking to the Philadelphia Eagles, they don't like Jalen Carter.
Yeah,
be like, well, and there's a lot of baggage there.
Him and Addison going to hang out?
Too fast, too furious, Viking speed. And, yeah.
No,
I-94 will never be the same. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, there is an asset that you could probably get, and I don't know, Jalen Carter, the football player, would look pretty damn good on this team.
Oh, he's
I'm
good.
just saying. Just the only problem is Jalen Carter, the human, not so much.
Also, I know Javon Hargrave wasn't what people wanted him to be last year, but can the Vikings, can what Jalen Carter do even be useful in? It's weird to say, but can it even be useful in Brian Flores' defense? Because
Like,
he wants his defensive tackles kind of like just to hold the line so that everyone else can get through. Where Jalen Carter is more of like he does his own thing, where like he's more of like a Sheldon Richardson, John Randall kind of guy, where like he rushes the passer on his own. He doesn't need any blitz or anything. So it sounds like a good, and I'm sure he could find a use for him, but I don't know if it would be as good of a fit as it would be elsewhere.
I think I'd like to see the Vikings get one defensive tackle, one way or the other, because Jalen Redmond got to the quarterback plenty.
Yeah,
in
I want
his
a big.
role,
I want a big fat guy. I want just like
big
Gary
fat
Ball,
guy with anger
Pat
management
Williams,
issues.
Gilbert Brown. Just like I want a big fat guy. Just
meatloaf eating.
Like
dude.
Dexter. I feel like Dexter Lawrence is probably like the modern equivalent of those guys these days, because he's not obese, but he's also not like ripped or anything. He's like he's
Obese.
round and he's very strong.
He's not like Desmond Watson, the guy the Bucks drafted in the 3rd round. They're like, we're gonna stop the tush push, and he's like,
is he a tight end?
No, he's a defensive tackle.
Oh, that's right. Florida has
he's like 400 pounds.
Doesn't Florida have like a 380-pound tight end or something like that?
They might. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I saw that somewhere. But yeah, I just want like a big fat guy. Just I know there's not as common this year because everyone's got to have like their protein shakes and everything, and you gotta be slim and everything. But they just need a wide person, just take up space, let the other guys do their things. But yeah, I back to Greenard, like, yeah, they got Dallas Turner, so they can feel pretty good. And like you said, when he filled in for Greenard, he was much better because he was able to play more to his strengths. Where when he filled in for Van Ginkel, he did okay, but Van Ginkel drops into coverage a lot more than Greenard does. So when he was filling in for Greenard, Dallas Turner got to really pin his ears back and just go after the quarterback or the ball carrier a lot more, and that seemed to help. So yeah, I think there's like a guarantee. Some amount of money gets guaranteed in Greenard's contract on Friday. So I'd be curious to see even if a deal happened tonight. And if it doesn't happen tomorrow, then I think the Vikings probably wait until the draft, or then training camp or whatever. But it's not over. I wouldn't say even if they don't trade him now, that doesn't mean they're going to trade him, because they can always trade him at the deadline too. And maybe even get more at that point. But yeah, I think the stars have aligned where a trade for Jonathan Greenard would not. I feel like it wouldn't hurt the Vikings as much as people might think.
I think they're in too deep right now. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Kyler.
It's a bummer, but
it's like the Kyler stuff, which was being reported for like the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks of like, oh, the Vikings are the favorite, and then as soon as he got released, it's funny how like Ian Rappaport and Pelissero and Schefter all like kind of like tiptoed around like, now that Kyler's released, the Vikings are appearing to be the favorite team. Now he's going to meet with other teams, but didn't mention, didn't include that he's going to meet with other teams on Zoom while he's in Minnesota. And then he met with the Vikings today and signed with them. So yeah. But I think it's always funny how like insiders have to like tiptoe around, like they can't come out and say like, yeah, he's going to be a Viking. Like I think Schefter is the closest one who will say that, but like the other guys are like, well, you never know. It's like, no, actually, I think this time we do.
Well, I mean, the Max Crosby trade was, hey, it's happening.
You know what?
And then
that's true. I feel like it might have picked up more on like there was a lot of posts from teams today and yesterday. They were like, so and so passed their physical. They are now a member of blah blah blah. So it's like I enjoyed those. But that is a whole nother. Yeah, that's interesting.
Vikings news today. Posting in the comments.
It's cool.
Just says Skull. Short and sweet.
It's cool.
Works for me. Definitely works for me.
Did you hear what Kyler said in his little presser?
Oh, that he like cried actual tears when Brett Favre. That is the JJ McCarthy played hockey. Did you know about that?
Yeah, but he said he's been a Vikings fan since he was 7. So
great.
I mean, that's going to help him throw more touchdowns. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure there's 5 more touchdowns waiting. Just the purple passion that's been buried inside him. Maybe it'll help us, sign him if he blows up.
But now we get to switch from 9 memes to like short people memes.
Call of Duty, short people, yeah. All of that stuff. We love the memes here in Minnesota.
Just meme quarterbacks. It's the only kind we want.
Diana Rossini has spoken, by the way. She says, of The Athletic, of course, she says, Kevin O'Connell made it very clear that JJ McCarthy will have to compete for the starting job in Minnesota this year. The Vikings QB battle will be between him and Kyler Murray. Like I said, I mean, Kyler is probably like a minus 5,000 favorite.
80-20.
To win it. Yeah. 84-1. Let's shout out Randy Moss. Why not? I guess 80-1's Chris Carter too. So there is that. Of course, Kyler Murray, probably the biggest move of Vikings free agency because they haven't made a lot of them. Let's run it all down here because key departures. Jonathan Allen was cut. He was released, went to the Cincinnati Bengals, who paid him 2 years, $26 million.
Now they don't have to have any dead money.
Yeah, there was that Allen contract was god awful. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, why are you giving him that much money? Like
the Bengals, they're stupid.
No, I'm talking about the Vikings.
Oh, yeah.
The Vikings 2 years ago, I was just like, that's a lot for Jonathan Allen. And sure enough, he didn't really do a whole heck. I mean,
same agent as Thielen, too.
Yeah. So he got paid, but yeah, Bengals doing us a solid there. Jalen Naylor going to the Las Vegas Raiders, probably to catch passes from Kirk Cousins soon. He gets 3 years, $35 million in that contract, which actually looks like a bargain compared to some of the wide receiver contracts you're seeing out there. Romeo Dobbs getting $80 million or whatever. I mean, there were like 8 different amounts, so you'll have to excuse me. Like everybody's got to be first, but who cares about being accurate? And then Ryan Wright signing a 4-year, $14 million deal with the New Orleans Saints. Vikings signings so far in free agency as of Thursday night. The Vikings re-signed Eric Wilson to a 3-year, $22.5 million deal. They reached a revised deal with Aaron Jones that will pay him around $5 million. That's about a 50% pay cut. They reworked TJ Hawkinson's contract. He now has a 1-year, $11 million deal and will be a free agent. He also does not count towards the comp pick formula if he leaves next offseason. So that is an important note. And the big addition by the Vikings, cornerback James Pierre from the Pittsburgh Steelers, 2 years, $8.5 million. Great PFF grades. If you're into that sort of thing, small sample size, but this is basically their annual Isaiah Rodgers signing where it's like, this guy didn't get a lot of pubs, so we're going to try and sign him. And also too, the Vikings designated Harrison Smith as a post June 1st cut. Yep. So he is not on the roster right now, but it is basically just a procedural thing so they can clear up some cap space and just give him all the time he needs, whether to return. I'm going to phrase all of this like this right now. I feel like the Vikings strategy in their front office is run it back, but with a different quarterback. And I'm not sure I like that because this is a 4-8 team. This is a 4-8 team last year. I know they finished 9-8. I know they got a winning record. I know that's why Kevin O'Connell still has a job. They were 4-8 and looked like dog shit in the middle of the season. And yet we're just going to bring everybody back. Aaron Jones, 31 years old, he was chirping on Instagram like, oh, you guys love me the year before. Yeah, you didn't get hurt. Like, you're you're
he just
old.
didn't
Yeah.
miss any games.
Right.
Just
And
quarters.
two, when he was in there, it was kind of and don't get me wrong, Aaron Jones, friend of the show, technically, because he came on to talk. Also a wrestling fan. So cool, dude. I mean,
he'll be at SummerSlam this
yeah,
summer, probably.
They'll probably show him because he's going to be the only guy that can afford decent tickets at SummerSlam. Just Aaron Jones paying out the ass for his ringside seats.
Why do I feel like Kyler Murray likes wrestling? I feel like he might. So he might be there.
Maybe that'd be fun.
Yeah.
But I just and you know what too? Here's the other thing. This is going to be unpopular. I don't care if Harrison Smith comes back or not.
Oh no.
Like I'm sorry, he's a great all-time Viking, borderline Hall of Famer, and that's probably being a little cautious with my words because I think he should be in. Yeah. But I think Harrison Smith, like last year, he was a step slow and he started picking up in the final 5 games. But again, that was against teams that were ready for Cancun and one team who benched their starters because they were going to the playoffs.
And we don't know. He had some like personal ailment or something.
He had an illness
that we never got any details about, whatever. And then he didn't play like a full game until like after the bye. I feel like
maybe he was like the have you ever seen the Macho Man meme where he's just like heavy breathing? And he's just like, like it's just him like between sentences, just breathing heavily because he's like on steroids and cocaine the entire time. Just like, I'm at the boiling point. Oh
yeah. Hey, you didn't mention all their other really good signings. They tendered Jalen Redmond. They tendered Bo Richter. They tendered Xavier Scott. And then Javon Hargrave got cut and signed with the Packers too.
Oh yes, I did forget that.
Quickly signed with the Packers, like an hour or two after he got released. Somehow a deal was just worked out right after he got released.
So Jonathan Gannon is over there. Pew pew pew. R.A.P. Rondell Moore. Jonathan Gannon is the defensive coordinator of the Packers, so that's a little bit there, but yeah, the typical congrats on your sloppy seconds there, Green Bay. Is that what I'm supposed to say here? Because usually it's the other. Oh, he's washed. You don't need look at those stupid Vikings. Oh, okay.
Packers have lost,
but you got your 10 comp picks, so you'll just draft 10 all pros, right?
Packers have lost, I feel like, a bunch of players this year in free agency. They're gonna
let's look that up.
Look a lot different. Yeah, comp picks. That really worked out for the Vikings, huh? Yeah, they haven't done a lot. James Pierre sounds like he's mainly a special teams guy, and he can be like their third corner or fill in when they need to. I don't expect him to be a starter for the Vikings. Because they got Byron Murphy and Isaiah Rodgers, and they might even draft someone in the first or second round this year. But James Pierre was good. He was solid when he filled in for the Steelers last year. The Vikings got the Steelers' old DB's coach, so he followed him over here. And then I saw something where, they want James Pierre and Tavier Thomas to be their punt gunners. So Ty Felton doesn't have to do that anymore. Maybe he can actually get some snaps on offense. But we'll see about that because I don't know. I feel like the next move for the Vikings after signing Kyler has to be a third receiver. Just go out and get someone who you can depend on. I feel like Christian Kirk's out there. He's played with Kyler before. The corpse of DeAndre Hopkins is still out there as well. Maybe bring him along. But I think that's something the Vikings should think about as their next move. And they haven't done a lot because they don't have any money. So and even if they back in the day, their cap space, which I think is up to last time I checked, is up to 8 right now. But I think technically, if you count some of their other things, they have like 20 or 30. Back in the day, that would have been a ton of cap space. The Raiders had like $90 million in cap space this year, if not more. Same thing with like the Jets and other teams. Like the Vikings started the year with like negative 45 million, and they had to scrounge and figure out things to get over or under the cap to even be able to sign a draft pick, a 7th round draft pick. So I think if they trade Grenard, they're going to free up more cap space that way too. Um, so they can't do a whole lot of stuff, and I think at the same time they don't have a GM, so Brzezinski's probably like, "Hey, let's try and keep as many guys as we can, at least the guys who aren't going to cost a lot, and then next year, whoever's here as a GM, he can figure out what to do with like signing guys or moving on from guys." So I think Brzezinski's just like, let's not blow up the house before someone else comes in to remodel it or whatever. Let's keep it as is. So I think that's probably part of the reason why they haven't spent a ton of money this offseason.
No, and I'm actually just kind of looking around to see if anything else has broken or a whole lot of short Kyler Murray jokes, basically.
What? No one ever's
Yeah.
made those before.
Yeah, that and
Very
Call
original.
of Duty, get used to it. Now we're like offended by them. Like we were making them, and now we're just like, get off our quarterback, guys.
Hey, I don't know if people know this, but Justin Jefferson, he plays video games and he streams them live. So
Is he committed? He didn't have a great season. He barely got 1,000 yards.
right.
My fantasy team cratered because of him.
He should stop being on those cereal boxes. Just too much time.
Too much those bad
Cinnamon Toast
Lowe's
Crunch.
commercials.
Yeah, I forgot about
with
Little
Christian
Caesars
McCaffrey.
too. He's got a lot of sponsorships.
Here's Jim. He's with the Chain Gang. Stop buttering up there, Jim. Oh my fucking God. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's gonna take a lot to get me excited about this because
Eventually you will.
That's what everybody says. They're like the positive vibes are eventually gonna come back.
You're to see one slow motion highlight of Kyler Murray throwing the ball in OTAs to some general hip hop beat, and then you're gonna be like, I'm in. The ball's gonna just rotate, just NFL film style, and just be like,
get a mumble rapper track in there, and just like Kyler Murray.
It'll be great. It'll be good. It'll be good.
I mean, you look at this too. I was looking at comp picks a little bit. The Packers are currently projected to get 2/4 for Malik Willis and Romeo Doubs, and they'll get a 5th for Quay Walker. So those are the guys that have left the Packers. The Lions lost Alex Anzalone, Roy Lopez, also Kyle Allen, Khalif Raymond, Grant Stewart, Al-Quadin Muhammad is also out there.
They lost a lot of guys.
Yeah, and the Bears lost a lot too because Kevin Byard went to reunite with Mike Vrabel and the Patriots. Jaquan Brisker is gone. Today, Nashawn Wright is gone.
CJ Gardner-Johnson left today too.
Correct. Where did he wind up signing?
Buffalo, I think.
Buffalo. Yeah, he'll probably be cut by the end of training camp. He'll piss somebody off. Yeah, I mean, you look at the North, it's like, well, nobody made big ones. They're going to have to nail the draft. That's what it comes down to. And this is a tricky one to do it in. I will say this right now. Daniel Jeremiah floated this out, and I know it's going to make the analytics community's head explode. Trade up for Jeremiah Love.
Even with Aaron Jones back? Yeah.
Yes.
I think that I love that idea, but I think learning what we've learned about Kevin O'Connell these last handful of years, now that Aaron Jones is back, he thinks his backfield's probably set.
Probably.
He's not gonna.
And we know he's the one making the personnel decisions.
He made Alexander Madison the number 1 running back. So like,
and they say I can't remember who tweeted out, but somebody said, it was Aaron Jones's pass protection ability that brought him back. It's like, all right, man, I just want you to run the ball effectively.
Yeah.
Like there's gotta be like, here's the other thing about the explosive plays thing. People freak out because they're like, oh, he's just going to chuck it all the time. Explosive plays can come on the ground too. I think Kyler Murray can generate explosive plays with his legs. I think if
Jordan Addison did.
What's that? Yeah.
Jordan Addison did.
I mean, look, yeah, the Christmas game that I totally forgot about.
Was that the longest run they had all year? I think it was.
I would not be shocked. I'm sure it was. So, I mean, a guy with breakaway potential, because I like Jordan Mason. I think he's an efficient runner. Yeah, I made fast. The call that I thought the Vikings were going to trade him, but not because he wasn't good. Just I don't think he fit what Kevin O'Connell wanted to do. So if you trade up for Jeremiah Love, and they'll probably take a corner, they'll probably take a defensive tackle, and we'll be like, all right, whatever. Safety. I think you could find, and the other thing is too, teams are doing cover 2 to prevent downfield plays. You know how you break cover 2? You establish the run.
Yeah, look at Ben Johnson. Look at Clint Kubiak.
I mean, the thing is, Kevin O'Connell's got to adapt. He's got no choice right now.
It's like his idol. Do you want to go down
because my offense? I don't use multiple tight ends or whatever. All right, have fun getting Sean McVay's coffee next year. Like,
he might have thought about it if he could have got Johnny Munt back, but he went somewhere else. So
who?
Johnny Munt.
Oh, Johnny.
He went to the
Johnny
Eagles.
Munt didn't come back. I thought that was a formality.
Right.
I didn't see.
He went to the Eagles, I think.
Did it happen today? Because I haven't been online today. Okay. Once I was off, I was kind of like, I've had enough of free agency.
It's
4 straight days.
It's a lot. I have this is the time of year where I have 2 screens going where I'm like writing, and then I have TweetDeck or whatever it's called now going, so I can keep track of stuff, and it's a lot. But yeah, Johnny Munt's gone. But yeah, he's like, and they keep doing stuff and saying things like, we got to run the ball better, we got to be more efficient. And they brought in the offensive coordinator from the Dolphins to be their assistant head coach this year, who worked with Mike McDaniel and blah blah blah. Now their offensive line coach, he helped the Titans and Jets have better run games, and it's like that's great. Are they calling the plays? Because that's all that matters. Because if Kevin O'Connell, Aaron Jones runs for -1 yards on 1 carry, he's not calling a run play probably for a while. So yeah, it's just, I will be curious to see what they do with Kyler's mobility, because he does have that ability, and I don't know if they'll want to shy away from it because he tends to get hurt a lot. But I think that's a skill of his that I don't think you can just take away. That'd be like trying to make like Lamar Jackson a pocket passer or something like that. Like you gotta use it sometimes, and Kyler uses it too. He gets less sacks because of it. So I'll be curious to see what they do. I feel like we were talking about, a lot of people are talking about Kyler Murray like he's like some 35-year-old. He's 28. Like,
yeah,
he's not even 30 yet. So like, he could have a good year next year, sign like a multi-year deal with the Vikings, and he still wouldn't be 30.
Yeah,
still be 29 and maybe have a good 5-10 years left in his NFL career if he wants. So like,
I think that's it. It's like, I think right now I'm just not locked into a certain outcome.
Right.
Like last year I was locked into JJ McCarthy is going to be our franchise quarterback, and I believe in him. And that went spiraling out of control. And like I said too, last season sucked. It wasn't fun. Like, I had no fun whatsoever, mainly because I also have to write about like NFC North, and everything was just sunshine.
Everyone was
and
great
rainbows.
for everyone else.
Yeah, life was great for everybody else, but it was just every little thing the quarterback did, it was under a microscope. Every little thing the Vikings did was, there's the Max Brosmer thing. Like, it was not a lot of fun. I think Kyler could be fun. He could fall on his face, and JJ McCarthy could take over, and he'll be the next starter for the next 10 years. Kyler Murray could blow up and take the Vikings to the NFC Championship game, signs a long-term deal, and Kyler Murray's the quarterback for the next 5 to 7 years. Those are both range of outcomes things. If I'm a Vikings fan, and I am, obviously, I'm just sitting there and I'm just let it play out. Let it play out. Just enjoy Kyler Murray while you got him because he's fun to watch a lot of times. He's going to make you pull your hair out too. But I mean, whatever, man. I mean, it's fun, more fun than grinding through a season with Geno Smith or Derek Carr as your quarterback, or Aaron Rodgers ripping everybody's head off because, oh, you knocked me to the ground while we were celebrating.
Or going on McAfee in front of millions of people and saying he wants to live a private life.
Him and his AI wife. That's probably
don't talk about his wife. It's bullshit. Everyone's trying to see her. It's like, yeah, because you're hiding her. You're making people want to. Like, if you didn't say anything or just showed a picture of her, no one would care.
Here she is.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's all he had to do.
He doesn't want to be. Yeah.
Like, that's it. And no one would care. It'd be like, oh, she's just a regular person. Then no one would care. But now like he said, like they moved off the beach or whatever because like the paparazzi were everywhere. Yeah, because you did that. You could have easily stopped it. You could. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. But
he says Kyler, he's also going to go away forever, which no, you're not.
He's gonna start a podcast, like Joe Rogan or somebody. Just build a giant.
That's what's sad too. I feel like if he's stuck with football, I think he could be a really good analyst.
Oh, he's great when he talks about he's like Kirk Cousins. Like he could, he'd be really good if he was an analyst. He'd probably piss a lot of people off too, like that he worked with, but he'd be really good. Yeah. Maybe he can replace Tony Romo. I don't know. But
I think he'd be a better studio guy, but
yeah.
Either or. Color is hard when you get in there, especially you only have.
Well, look at Brady.
Yeah,
it's like
when people
threw the ball good.
People don't realize this too, who have never been in broadcasting. When you have the cams on, it is not just listening to you. It's a producer going like, "Don't forget to mention this. Don't forget to mention this. Okay, this is going on. We got to go to commercial here."
This stat.
There's a lot of shit happening in those,
especially in those games.
Yeah. So when you are in there, it is not just. But I think he's gotten better too. So
I think the thing for this upcoming Viking season, now that Kyler's on the team, well, first off, like you said, just ride the wave or whatever. Look at the 49ers. Like they put in Brock Purdy after everyone else got hurt. Trey Lance got hurt. Garoppolo got hurt, I think too. They put in Brock Purdy and they're like, okay, kid, just go right ahead. Do whatever you got to do. He turned out to be great. Yeah. Maybe not as good as Max Brosmer one day, but he turned out to be great. They stuck with him. They traded Trey Lance because they knew Purdy could do more. And if that happens with Kyler, I would have no problem with it. The goal of this team should be to find a way to win as many games as possible. And if Kyler is the guy you think you can do that with, then go ahead and ride with him. Like it's the NFL. Like you can get cut tomorrow. Like there's no guarantee that you're like when 2024 when the Vikings are 14-3 or whatever, and people are talking about, I think there's like some trade deadline stuff, and it's like they shouldn't do anything. They just keep other guys, and it's like, or you could just try and trade for better players because you don't know if you're going to be in this position ever again because it's the NFL, and just what do you know? The following year they missed the playoffs, so sometimes you just gotta ride the wave. And I think for just the upcoming season, I think people just need to have fun, just like enjoy it. Just we don't need to think about like Super Bowl expectations every year. Like there's one team that wins the Super Bowl every year. One. That's like 1 out of 32. One team. Did Seahawks fans think they were going to win the Super Bowl in the first month of the season last year before the season?
I don't think they thought they were going to win it in the second month of the season, to be honest with you.
I highly doubt it, yeah. So
when you look at the Seahawks schedule, you're like, well, they lost that. Whoa, what? Yeah. So, wow.
Didn't they lose the Did they lose to the Jaguars?
Let me look now.
I think they might have. The Patriots lost to the Raiders in like week 2. I think.
Week 1 they lost to the Raiders in week 1.
So like, just have fun. Like, just enjoy the season. Like, that's having kids, I feel like I have a different perspective like that, but, like, sometimes you just gotta step back and realize, like, the chance of your team winning the Super Bowl is already pretty slim. Like, even for the best teams in the league, because just injuries in football happen and just it's so unpredictable. So just enjoy watching football. Watch the Vikings. Watch Kyler Murray throw up bombs to Justin Jefferson, to Jordan Addison. Like,
Crush a
I
few beers.
yeah, they're probably gonna win, like, a bunch of their first games, and then they're probably gonna struggle because teams are gonna be like, "Oh, yeah, these guys are good," or Kyler gets hurt. So, like, and then is Kyler a quarterback that makes them more enticing for, like, prime time? Because I was thinking that, I'm like, "Oh, now
I think so.
they're gonna be like Monday night, first week of the year, Green Bay or Chicago, like, again." 'Cause if they got Geno, I feel like they would've been like, "Nah, we're not gonna make you prime
Oh,
time."
if we would have lost that Detroit game, we would have had the Cardinals on the schedule.
I know.
So they might do a Packers one because Jonathan Gannon's on the other
Oh, yeah.
sideline.
Well,
So,
and
and
the
that's
Vikings.
another bonus. Kyler Murray gets to play Jonathan Gannon twice now.
Yes.
So
Um, and the Packers just, they have Michael LaFleur's brother, Matt LaFleur. He cut Kyler. Um, who has Kingsbury? The Rams do, right?
Rams.
Yeah.
That's why that was an interesting leverage. They were talking.
Eh,
I was listening to Judd on Score North this morning, and he was like, "No, he could sit behind staff. It's like he wants to play."
yeah, he
This
wants
is
to
this is
play.
also, but this is also it could pave the way to him to the Rams because if
Mhm.
JJ, if they like what they see from JJ behind the scenes, or
Yep.
like they just are kind of done with Kyler, he'll have a year in a McVay offense, so he could go over to the Rams
Or you
to
keep
replace Stafford.
Murray and you trade JJ to the Rams.
Could it be? Could happen. We also talk about like ride the wave, just ride the wave, man. Like, don't worry about it. Like, whatever. We all know week 2, he's gonna throw like 3 picks, and I'm gonna be like, what the fuck was that? Just crashing
Well,
out.
this last year, after week 1, we're like, "Yes, we got our quarterback. Yes, finally." And the following
That
week,
was fun.
it was fun. It was
I
fun.
regret nothing about that because
Oh, no, it was fun.
that was just like a euphoric win.
It
Like,
was. It was great.
whoa.
And then they got smacked in the mouth against the Falcons the following week.
I was at that game.
Yeah.
I drank 20 beers.
Yeah.
It was
So
the
did
next.
JJ.
Yeah. JJ played like he drank 20 beers. Yeah. All because he missed that practice. Because is Kyler going to have a kid? Do we know?
That's a plus. I don't think
What
he
was
has any.
that the first question in the meeting?
Do you
Like,
have any kids
all right, you have any kids?
that you
"No,
know of?
I play video games, bro. Okay, you're good. I mean,
Yeah.
there are people who have kids that play video games. I know Nick Marty has kids that play. He plays video
Kids
games
play.
with his kids. He'll probably get WWE 2K26 and throw them off the cell. Not actually throw his kids off the cell. That would be like child abuse. But like
You could create them.
Nick's like, shut up. You're making this worse. What's
Um,
going on at the Viking age right now, Adam?
Before I say that, I've got my kids into Sonic and Mario and Mega Man. They like playing those games. Find them for free on the computer. At the Viking age, excuse me, we're covering everything free agency wise for the Vikings. We got a fancy free agency tracker, which I just updated with the Kyler Murray signing. We're gonna have a bunch of stuff coming out about Kyler Murray in the morning, and throughout the week and for the rest of the offseason, because he's gonna be the main topic, him and JJ McCarthy probably. And then we'll be keeping an eye on Jonathan Greenard and anything else that happens with the Vikings. I think most of their like notable free agents have either come back or signed with another team. Like the rest of their guys are like Carson Wentz, like Justin School. Like if they leave, it's like okay.
Yeah. Best of luck, guys.
Carson Wentz can't be the starter for the Jets anymore because Geno's there. So I never thought that was gonna happen. But who else is a free agent? I'm trying to think. It's just because there isn't really a whole lot that are notable that are free agents. But check that out, and we'll have some draft stuff too. I just saw who's the Banks kid that from Florida.
Caleb
Um,
Banks.
yeah, he I think he broke his foot. They said at the combine today. But he'll be ready by June, even though injuries have been a thing for him. So keep an eye on that. And yeah, everything else on thevikingage.com. Go check it out.
And of course, you can read my Viking stuff at zonecoverage.com. I write about the Twins there as well. Wild coverage is at Hockey Wilderness if you want to check that out as they go through their late season push. Just heard they had a bad first period, so excited to check them out. And then, of course, you got the RBN network for you football fans. Dairyland Express has got Packers coverage. The Windy City has Bears coverage. And Detroit Jock City has Lions coverage if you want to see what the hell they're doing or who they're losing or just want to laugh through the pain. I'm sure I'll write some interesting Kyler Murray articles tomorrow, but that's all on tap at the RBN network. But of course, VikingAge.com. It's the Viking Age podcast. We're on the Viking Age YouTube channel. We go live every once in a blue moon, super rare. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you're new here, like, comment, share, subscribe. You get all the new episodes. You get alerted when we go live. It's a great time. For Adam Patrick at Adam Patrick NFL, I am Chris Schad at The Real Chris Schad. 4 letters, 1 word. Skol.